The deeper the darkness of your night, the closer you are to the dawn of your breakthrough. Rumi. Chosen one, anchor your spirit to what I'm about to reveal right now. That unshakable feeling that something has been hidden from you. That feeling is about to make perfect sense. I know the last few weeks have felt different. The atmosphere around you hasn't just been quiet. It's been protective, like standing in the eye of a hurricane where everything is still, but you can sense the storm raging just beyond your reach. Maybe you've been waking up at 4 in the morning with this strange sense that battles were being fought while you slept. Or maybe you've been sitting in meetings, conversations, even family gatherings, and something in your spirit kept whispering, "There's more to this story." Perhaps you've caught glimpses, a look that lingered too long, a conversation that stopped when you entered the room, decisions being made about your life that you weren't invited to witness. The enemy has been working overtime to convince you that you're being left out because you're not important enough. He's been whispering that if something was really happening, God would have told you. He's replaying every moment when you felt excluded, every door that seemed closed, every conversation you weren't part of, telling you it's evidence that you don't matter. But I need you to hear what Deuteronomy 31:6 actually says about this moment. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Listen to that promise. He goes with you, not behind you, not ahead of you, with you. Which means when battles were raging that you couldn't see, he was fighting them with you, not for you. When doors were closing that confused you, he was standing guard, not abandoning you. The protection you've been under wasn't God keeping you small. It was God keeping you safe while he dismantled the very systems that were designed to destroy you. That moment last week when you walked away from that argument, when you refused to defend yourself, even though every fiber of your being wanted to fight back, you didn't know it then, but that restraint was the final key that unlocked your enemy's defeat. Your silence wasn't weakness. It was warfare. You did not stumble across this message by chance. The algorithm did not guide you here. The Holy Spirit orchestrated this divine appointment because the season of protection is officially over and the season of revelation has begun. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what God has been protecting you from seeing. I'm going to reveal the 3 specific battles he fought on your behalf while you slept. I'm going to walk you through the divine strategy behind every closed door, every delayed answer, every moment you felt left in the dark. And at the end, I'm going to give you the prayer that seals this season of hiddenness and activates your season of supernatural visibility. Do not leave this message early. Your breakthrough has been waiting for you to receive this revelation. If you click away now, you leave before the veil is lifted. You've been living in a divine protection program, and today is your graduation. The very people who thought they were positioning themselves against you have been unknowingly positioning you for promotion. The systems that seemed to exclude you were actually quarantining you from contamination. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. Isaiah 54:17 says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." That word, condemn, doesn't mean you get to judge them back. It means you get to expose their verdict. And the verdict is this: every strategy they formed in secret has become the very foundation of your public victory. The heaviness you've been feeling isn't the weight of being forgotten. It's the weight of being prepared. You weren't excluded from their plans because you weren't worthy. You were separated from their plans because you were chosen for something they could never contaminate. That frustration you've been carrying, wondering why God hasn't been more obvious about his direction in your life, that frustration is about to transform into gratitude. Because today you're going to see that his silence wasn't absence. It was strategy. The first thing you need to understand is that what you've been calling delay has actually been divine timing working in your favor. Imagine standing at the threshold of a magnificent mansion, a dwelling you know in your spirit is meant for you. Yet, every door you push remains stubbornly shut. The grand halls echo with a silence that feels less like peace and more like abandonment. You peer through frosted panes, catching glimpses of others stepping effortlessly into their destinies, their paths seemingly paved with ease and open doors. Meanwhile, you're left in what feels like an interminable, dimly lit corridor, the air heavy with the scent of unfulfilled promise, the weight of unmet expectations pressing down on your shoulders. This aching sense of prolonged expectation, this gnawing question of, why not me, why not now? This is what your human perception labels as delay. It's a natural response to the frustration of unanswered prayers and seemingly stalled progress. But the divine perspective, the truth whispered by the Spirit, reveals a vastly different reality. What you've perceived as delay has been nothing less than the meticulous, orchestrated precision of divine timing, working silently and profoundly in your favor. Every moment spent in that quiet hallway, every step through that perceived purgatory of waiting has been meticulously utilized by the divine architect. While your eyes saw only stillness and stagnation, God's hands were busily at work, not merely opening a door, but entirely rearranging the rooms, redesigning the very architecture of your destiny on the other side. He wasn't just waiting for the right moment. He was creating the right environment, the perfect alignment of conditions, people, and spiritual fortitude, ensuring that when your season of breakthrough finally arrives, it won't just be an entry, but an inhabitation of a space exquisitely prepared for you. This isn't just a hopeful thought, it's a foundational truth, a spiritual law. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Your finite understanding of time and progress simply cannot grasp the infinite wisdom orchestrating your grand design. Think about Joseph in that prison cell, a man unjustly accused, left to languish in the depths of despair. For 2 full years after the chief butler, whose life Joseph had saved through divine interpretation, promised to remember him, Joseph was still counting days in darkness, the cold stone walls of his cell reflecting the emptiness of his hopes. Each sunrise was a stark reminder of another day forgotten, another promise unfulfilled. But Genesis 41:1 provides us with a profound detail. At the end of 2 full years, Pharaoh had his dream. Not 1 year and 11 months, a mere whisker away from the appointed time. Not 2 years and a day, which might have suggested a slight deviation. No, it was at the exact completion of the full, divinely ordained time. What felt like an agonizingly forgotten promise to Joseph was actually perfect positioning by God, a master chess player moving pieces across the cosmic board. Because if Joseph had been released even 1 day earlier, if the butler had remembered him a moment before the precise appointed time, Pharaoh wouldn't have had his dream. The famine wouldn't have been imminent. The cosmic stage wouldn't have been set. Joseph, in his human understanding, would have been just another former prisoner, perhaps struggling to find his footing, rather than the divinely appointed interpreter and savior of nations. God's timing is not merely punctual, it is preordained with exquisite precision, accounting for every variable, every heart, every circumstance, ensuring maximum impact and perfect alignment for your destiny. Your waiting, that arduous journey through the barren landscapes of patience, has never been wasted time. It has been invaluable preparation time, a sacred season of forging and refinement. And this principle is unwavering. True, lasting promotion always happens in private before it is ever unveiled in public. Just as a seed must spend time hidden in the dark earth, drawing nutrients, germinating in secret before it bursts forth as a resilient plant, so too must your spirit be cultivated away from the spotlight. Think of the sculptor chiseling away tirelessly in the solitude of their studio, the athlete pushing their limits in the quiet discipline of training, the musician perfecting their craft through countless hours of unseen practice. The beauty, the strength, the mastery they display publicly are but the visible fruits of unseen labor. In your season of waiting, God has been working on the interior of your being, deepening your roots of faith, strengthening your character, honing your spiritual discernment, and refining your gifts. He's been building a reservoir of resilience within you, preparing your vessel to not just receive, but to carry the weight and responsibility of the breakthrough He is about to release into your life. Without this vital period of unseen preparation, the public promotion would not be a blessing, but a burden that could easily overwhelm and even shatter you. But here's where it goes deeper than most people are willing to go, venturing beyond the surface-level interpretations of divine delay. The reason your breakthrough has felt so tantalizingly close, like a shimmering mirage on the horizon, yet has remained just out of reach, isn't because you lack faith, nor is it because God is somehow testing your patience in a cruel cosmic game. No, the truth is far more profound. It's because there were specific people in positions of influence over your life, individuals whose decisions, actions, or even subtle energetic presence could directly impact your trajectory, who were not spiritually mature enough to handle your promotion. Their spiritual capacity was too limited, their hearts too unrefined, their own insecurities too prevalent. God, in His infinite wisdom and protective love, simply could not release you into their hands. He understood that their envy, their competitive spirit, their fear, or their inability to truly celebrate another's ascent would have inevitably corrupted what He was meticulously building within you. Like a master craftsman protecting a delicate, nascent creation from clumsy or ill-intentioned hands, God shielded your unfolding destiny from those who, whether intentionally or unintentionally, would have marred or sabotaged it. He values the integrity of His work in you far too much to allow it to be compromised by immaturity or self-centeredness. He waits until the path is not just clear, but safe for your true unveiling. So, with the precision of a celestial choreographer, He's been quietly relocating them. You might have seen it unfold in subtle ways, or perhaps through sudden, undeniable shifts. That boss who consistently overlooked your potential, whose vision was too narrow to encompass the breadth of your capabilities, they've been transferred, or their role changed, haven't they? That friend, once a close confidant, who always had something subtly negative or dismissive to say about your dreams, subtly planting seeds of doubt rather than encouragement. You've noticed them growing distant, their presence fading like an old photograph, haven't you? That well-meaning but ultimately hindering family member who questioned every bold step you took toward your purpose, trying to pull you back into the perceived safety of mediocrity. Observe now how their opinion seems to matter less these days, how their pronouncements carry less weight in the sacred space of your own conviction. God wasn't removing them from your life to hurt them, nor to punish you. He was repositioning them like pieces on a divine chessboard, ensuring that they could no longer exert a hindering influence over your calling. He cleared the path, not by force, but by a graceful realignment, making space for those who would truly champion and support the next chapter of your journey. This divine orchestration is a testament to His intricate care for your unique path. And this brings us to something most people miss entirely, a subtle yet seismic shift in perspective that will transform your understanding of God's work. For so long, you've been praying for God to change your circumstances, to alter the landscape around you, to simply open a door or clear a path. But what if God has been working on an entirely different, yet infinitely more powerful level? What if, all along, He's been strategically changing the people in your circumstances? You've been imploring Him to open doors, diligently knocking and waiting, when in fact He's been installing new gatekeepers. Think about it. An open door, no matter how grand, with the wrong gatekeeper, someone who lacks discernment, who is spiritually immature, who is driven by ego or fear, or who simply isn't aligned with your divine assignment, is still a blocked path. It's like having access to a treasure vault, but the one guarding it is determined to keep you out, or worse, to mishandle the treasure you are meant to bring forth. God understands that true access isn't just about the physical opening. It's about the spiritual alignment of those who hold the keys and stand at the entrance. He meticulously places individuals who possess the right spirit, the necessary wisdom, and the divine alignment to not only recognize your calling, but to actively usher you into it. He changes the guards, not just the gates, because He knows that the integrity of your destiny depends on who stands between you and your next season. This level of meticulous care is a profound sign of His unwavering commitment to your purpose. Your enemies haven't been fighting against what you are in this present moment. They possess a deeper, more sinister foresight. They've been fighting against what you are becoming, the higher, more powerful, more influential version of yourself that God is meticulously crafting. Every single attack they launched in the darkness, every whispered lie, every strategic opposition, every setback meant to derail you, has paradoxically been building the very platform you are now about to stand on in the glorious light of your breakthrough. This isn't just poetic language meant to inspire. This is spiritual mathematics, an immutable law of the kingdom. Romans 8:28, a cornerstone of our faith, declares that all things work together for good. But it doesn't stop there. It specifies, all things work together for good for those who are called according to His purpose. This means your purpose is so profoundly significant, so intricately woven into the fabric of God's greater plan, that even the very opposition hurled against you has been conscripted, unwillingly or unknowingly, into its ultimate fulfillment. It's as if every blow meant to break you has instead hammered another nail into the foundation of your ascension. Every attempt to bury you has simply planted you deeper, preparing you to blossom with even greater strength. Your adversaries, in their futile attempts to hinder, have inadvertently become unwitting architects of your elevation, their efforts serving as unexpected catalysts for your growth and ultimate triumph. Now here's the first specific assignment that was released against you, a calculated spiritual maneuver designed to cripple your progress and why it ultimately failed. There was a coordinated, often unseen effort to isolate you from your vital support system. Have you keenly noticed how certain relationships, once a source of comfort and encouragement, became inexplicably strained right when you felt you needed them most, like a lifeline fraying in a storm? How conversations that used to flow freely and affirm your vision suddenly became awkward, laden with unspoken tension or subtle criticism, with people who once championed your dreams. How invitations to gatherings or collaborations started coming less frequently, or worse, when they did come, a quiet but insistent stirring in your spirit, a divine whisper told you not to go, urging you to decline without truly understanding why. These aren't random occurrences or signs of your rejection. No, this was divine redirection in its most potent and necessary form. God was deliberately, tenderly, yet firmly pulling you away from seasonal people, individuals whose purpose in your journey had reached its natural conclusion. They were only ever meant to serve your yesterday, to provide support for a previous season, but they lacked the spiritual capacity or the alignment to journey with you into your tomorrow. Think of David, a humble shepherd boy, when Samuel came to anoint him as king. God called him away from the familiar fields, away from the expectations and limited perceptions of his brothers, away from the comfortable and known. What God was about to do in David's life, transforming him from a shepherd to a king, required a profound new level of separation, a breaking from the old to make way for the new. Your isolation wasn't a punishment for something you did wrong. It was a sacred preparation for something you are about to do profoundly right, a pruning for expansive growth. But here's where the enemy, in his finite wisdom and short-sighted malice, fundamentally miscalculated. He thought, if he could successfully cut you off from human encouragement, if he could silence the familiar voices that used to cheer you on, you would inevitably lose faith in your divine endorsement and begin doubting the very voice that called you out of obscurity in the first place. He believed that by severing your visible support structures, he could sever your invisible connection to the source. Yet his tactic backfired with glorious precision. Instead, that period of intense isolation, though painful and confusing, became your most profound spiritual academy. It taught you, in the deepest recesses of your soul, how to hear God without the static and interference of external opinions, how to discern his voice amidst the spiritual quiet. It compelled you to draw strength, not from the fleeting encouragement of a support system, but directly from the unwavering, eternal source of all power and truth. And every single day you remained faithful in that lonely place, choosing to trust him even when you couldn't see. You were unknowingly but powerfully building spiritual muscle, a deep well of resilience, an unshakable inner fortitude, and an intimate reliance on the Almighty that you are going to desperately need for the sheer weight and immense responsibility of your impending promotion. This period forged in you a reliance so profound that no human praise or criticism can now sway you from your divinely appointed path. The second assignment, strategically deployed against you, was designed to strike at the very core of your being. It was engineered to make you question your identity. Have you noticed how you've been second-guessing gifts that once flowed naturally and effortlessly through you, talents that felt as intuitive as breathing? How you've found yourself apologizing for taking up space, for having a voice, for simply existing in rooms where you intrinsically belong and are meant to shine. How you've been shrinking back from incredible opportunities that align perfectly with the deepest stirrings of your calling, telling yourself with a heavy heart that you're not qualified, you're not ready, you're not enough. When qualification, as the world defines it, was never the true requirement for divine assignment. Consecration, the sacred act of being set apart by God himself, was always the prerequisite. This attack was far from random. It was a cunning, precise, and strategic assault. The enemy, in his ancient cunning, knows that if he can successfully get you to doubt, to question, to fundamentally misunderstand who you are in Christ, you will never possess the courage, conviction, or clarity to step fully and fearlessly into what you are uniquely called to do. He's been relentlessly replaying every criticism you've ever received, every rejection that bruised your spirit, every moment someone made you feel like you were either too much or not enough, hoping to weave a convincing narrative that your profound calling was nothing more than a fanciful, wishful thinking, a delusional dream unworthy of pursuit. This constant barrage was meant to erode your spiritual foundation, leaving you adrift in a sea of self-doubt. But the unyielding truth, a beacon of light against these insidious whispers, is found in Jeremiah 1:5, where God declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That profound word "knew" in Hebrew is yada. It signifies not just intellectual acquaintance, but intimate, experiential knowledge. God didn't just know about you in some detached academic sense. He knew you. He intimately, personally, experientially knitted every fiber of your being together, piece by piece, with unparalleled intentionality. Every gift you possess, every unique quirk that sets you apart, every seemingly random interest that captivates your soul, every deep-seated passion that doesn't quite make sense to anyone else. All of it was meticulously woven into your magnificent design on purpose, for a purpose. What you've humbly been calling your weirdness, God celebrates as your exquisite uniqueness, the signature of His creative hand. What you've been self-consciously calling your too-muchness, God recognizes as the very essence of your assignment, the capacity required to carry the anointing. What you've been apologizing for, trying to dim or hide, heaven has been joyously celebrating, eagerly anticipating its full manifestation. You are a divine masterpiece, intricately designed for a specific and irreplaceable role in the tapestry of existence, and every aspect of your being is purposeful. And here's what's about to shift everything, fundamentally changing your understanding of that agonizing season of questioning. That identity crisis you've been walking through, the disorienting period of self-doubt and uncertainty, wasn't actually meant to destroy your confidence in who you are. On the contrary, it was divinely orchestrated, often through the enemy's misguided attacks, to utterly dismantle and destroy your dependence on human validation. It was meant to wean you off the fickle applause of others, to free you from the enslaving need for external approval. Because the level of assignment that is now coming your way, the immense scope of your divine purpose, will require an unwavering, unshakable inner knowing of who you are, rooted solely in God's affirmation. You must possess this profound self-assurance even, and especially, when you are surrounded by people who simply don't understand what you carry, who may criticize, dismiss, or attempt to redefine you. Your anointing is too precious, your calling too vital, to be contingent upon the shifting sands of human opinion. This identity crucible forged in you an autonomy of spirit, allowing you to move with confident authority, grounded in the unassailable truth of your divine sonship or daughtership, regardless of external perceptions. This is the foundation upon which your greatest works will be built. The third assignment, the most insidious of all, was truly a masterpiece of deception because it came disguised as wisdom. It was the subtle, rational-sounding voice that whispered in your ear, urging you to be practical, to always have a backup plan, to consider what people would think if you actually stepped fully, radically, and unreservedly into your divine calling. It sounded so reasonable, so responsible, so mature in its counsel. It felt like the prudent, grounded approach to life. But in truth, it was nothing more than fear, cunningly dressed up in the sophisticated garments of logic and worldly sensibility. Its core design was to keep you perpetually straddling two worlds, one foot tentatively in the realm of your divine destiny, and the other firmly planted in the perceived safety of human expectation, preventing you from ever fully inhabiting, with complete abandon, the glorious expanse of your predestined purpose. It was a spiritual tether, binding you to the familiar, even as your spirit yearned for the wild frontier of faith. This seductive voice, cloaked in practicality, convinced you that radical obedience to God's often illogical leading was actually irresponsible stewardship of your precious life. It cleverly twisted the definition of faith, making you believe that playing it safe, adhering to the predictable, was a display of trust, when in fact, playing it safe was the very antithesis of genuine faith. Faith, by its very nature, demands courage, risk, and a willingness to step into the unknown, guided solely by divine assurance. This insidious counsel kept you trapped in a cycle of compromise, applying for positions that felt secure but systematically emptied your soul, pursuing relationships that looked good on paper, meeting societal expectations but left your spirit perpetually hungry and unfulfilled, making critical life decisions based solely on what made logical sense to your finite mind, instead of what ignited your heart and made your entire being come vibrantly alive. It was a slow, spiritual suffocation, convincing you to trade your birthright of vibrant purpose for a bowl of bland, predictable pottage, believing it to be a necessary act of maturity. But here's what that deceptive voice, rooted in fear and human logic, tragically couldn't account for. It underestimated the indomitable spirit God placed within you and the persistent, unyielding nature of divine calling. Every single time you consciously or unconsciously chose security over the thrilling, terrifying call of your purpose, something deep within your spirit grew profoundly restless. Every time you settled for the safe, the predictable, the unremarkable, that divine dissatisfaction, like a persistent internal alarm, grew louder, more insistent, more profoundly unsettling. What the enemy cunningly meant to use to keep you perpetually comfortable, to lull you into spiritual complacency, ironically became the very catalyst that made comfort utterly impossible. God, in His infinite wisdom and relentless love, used your burgeoning dissatisfaction with settling, with living a life beneath your spiritual potential, to create such an unquenchable hunger for true purpose that eventually, safe didn't just feel unfulfilling. It began to feel profoundly unsafe. Staying small, remaining confined within the narrow parameters of human expectation, became more terrifying, more soul-crushing than the daunting prospect of stepping out in audacious faith. And that persistent restlessness you've been desperately trying to quiet, that ceaseless stirring in your soul, that's not anxiety or a sign of disorder. That, my friend, is holy anticipation. It's your spirit, finely tuned to the rhythms of heaven, preparing and vibrating for a reality that your mind simply couldn't yet imagine, but your soul deeply recognized as its ultimate home. But wait, before you move forward, before you charge ahead into the next season, you need to deeply internalize this profound truth. All three of these assignments, the coordinated effort to isolate you, the strategic attack on your identity, and the insidious voice disguised as wisdom, had one singular, overarching goal: to keep you from ever discovering that your greatest season of hiddenness was, in actual divine fact, your greatest season of profound development. While the enemy and his earthly proxies were trying desperately to convince you that you were being overlooked, forgotten, or simply weren't good enough, God was not merely observing. He was actively, meticulously, and powerfully preparing you for an unprecedented season of overflow. He was transforming the crucible of obscurity into the forge of your spiritual strength, turning what felt like abandonment into the fertile ground for your future. Think about Moses, that monumental figure of faith, spending 40 long, arduous years in the wilderness, tending sheep, a seemingly forgotten exile. The Israelites, languishing in slavery in Egypt, must have thought God had utterly forgotten them, His promises nothing more than a distant, faded memory. And Moses himself, in the quiet monotony of the desert, likely wondered if the miraculous burning bush he encountered was real, or merely a mirage born of solitude, if he had imagined the entire thing. Yet in Exodus 3:7, God speaks with profound clarity, revealing His unchanging nature. I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. He had seen, he had heard, he was deeply concerned. And critically, even when no human eye could perceive it, he was working. Moses' time in the wilderness wasn't a period of divine indifference. It was the essential, arduous process of stripping away his Egyptian identity, humbling his princely pride, and forging him into the patient, humble yet powerful leader required to shepherd a nation through the desert. His hiddenness was not evidence of God's forgetfulness. It was irrefutable evidence of his unwavering faithfulness to develop Moses without the crushing pressure and premature exposure that would have derailed his calling. Understand this deeply. Your hiddenness has never, not for a single moment, been evidence of God's forgetfulness or indifference towards you. On the contrary, it has been profound evidence of his unwavering faithfulness to develop you, to nurture you, to fortify your inner man without the crippling pressure and potential destruction of premature exposure. There is a sacred order to divine promotion. Because promotion without adequate preparation is not a blessing, it is, in a very real spiritual sense, a punishment. Influence without a deeply forged character becomes a destructive force, turning potential blessings into curses for both the individual and those they lead. A platform, no matter how grand, without a clear, God-given purpose, inevitably descends into empty vanity, a hollow spectacle devoid of true impact or meaning. God protects his anointed, and he protects his assignments by ensuring the vessel is ready for the overflowing new wine. He builds the character, hones the gifts, and deepens the wisdom in the quiet, unseen spaces, so that when the time comes for you to step into the light, you do so not as a fragile novice, but as a seasoned, divinely prepared leader, grounded in truth and unwavering in purpose. And just when you think you've finally grasped the full scope of God's intricate work in your life, there's one more profound layer, one final truth that changes everything, completely reframing every insight I've just shared with you. Here's the part you probably didn't expect, the revelation that pierces through the last vestiges of human control. The primary thing that has actually been blocking your breakthrough isn't merely external resistance, nor is it solely the machinations of your enemies. It's not even exclusively the cunning assignments launched against you by the forces of darkness. No, the deepest, most subtle impediment, the one often overlooked because it resides within your own heart, is your persistent attachment to controlling how your breakthrough looks, how it unfolds, and how it is finally revealed. You've been earnestly praying for God to vindicate you to specific people, in specific ways, on your meticulously crafted timeline, often seeking a breakthrough that satisfies your ego's need for recognition from those who previously doubted you. You've been asking for God to move in a manner that aligns with your mental image of triumph, rather than surrendering to his infinite, often unexpected, wisdom. Your ultimate guide to unlocking divine timing and stepping into your predestined purpose. It's available now for free. Just click the link in the description below to download your copy.